open your eyes. Okay. So, hopefully this morning I don't need to ask the question, what were the 3 previous weeks about? Body, mind, and spirit. Okay. So the body is our reminder that we are part of nature, and our body contains the same degree of wisdom. And it needs, as much as possible, to follow the rhythm of nature. And of course, in our modern daily lives, we tend to go a little bit out of balance because we're busy, we're important, we have stuff to do. We eat lunch on the run, we eat convenience food, we don't take time to meditate, we don't sleep enough. And so we do go out of balance. So body is just a reminder that there is a blueprint there. There is a wisdom around you in nature. Just remember, what do the animals do? They know exactly what to do at the right time of year, the right time of day. And they follow that wisdom with no ego. So if we want to really be in balance, and if we really want to tap into our full potential, we need to make sure that we're taking care of our body, because the body is the vehicle that is going to carry us through this life. If we push ourselves and push ourselves and push ourselves and deplete ourselves, we will at some point, firstly, not just have enough energy, but at some point we will break. And that's something that we really want to avoid. Then the mind, recognizing that we are almost always out of balance, but looking to find that neutral place where we become the observer, where we are less reactive and can consciously act according to what is going on in the world around us and according to our truth. And spirit, the part of ourselves which is eternal, which knows no fear, and which understands that it is love, and there is no separation. Spirit is really, when we reside in spirit, we can really see that I am you, and you are me, and we're all one. We all are also the trees and the birds, and the dolphins, and the puppies. We're everything. And the spiders and the ants and the cockroaches as well. Okay, we'll not be cutest about this. We are all one. So today, how do those 3 elements really work within us to enable us to live a wholesome and balanced life? So what we're going to do is look at the imbalances first. And I'm just going to go into a quick screen share this morning. Here we go. There we are. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the screen share this morning. Week 4, looking at integration. So the imbalances, as I said, this is where we want to start to understand where the dysfunction is, where it arises, so that we can be aware, much more aware in the moment when we're feeling things aren't quite right. We maybe have a reference point to understand what's going on. So what we find at the moment is a paradigm where the mind is the master. So if you have these 3 elements and you want to sort of layer them like a totem pole, with the most important being at the top and the least important being at the bottom. In the West, we have put the mind as master. All right, so we are trained to be intellectual beings. Everything from preschool onwards is very much intellect driven, mind driven. And we learn that we can solve every problem in the world if we just apply our mind. And so because we learn that, and because that's the way that we're trained, to a certain extent, because of the way that we live, the intellect does solve certain problems. And so we integrate that as a real truth. But if we take a step back and we look at the mind in its bigger perspective, we realize that that's faulty thinking. So the believing everything that the mind tells us is also believing everything that we're told. So if you get a comment from a parent or a teacher when you're younger, you're really stupid, you're really clumsy, you're really annoying, you're really loud, we believe it. We integrate that as part of our truth. The mind is the part of us which is receiving all of the impressions from birth, and possibly for some people pre-birth onwards. And because we are not trained to train our mind, it gets overloaded and overwhelmed. Yeah, we are not taught to meditate in the West. So when we finally come to a spiritual practice, hopefully in our 20s, for most of us in our 30s or even our 40s, we have got so much garbage in there. It's not funny. Okay. And we come to meditation because we've crashed. Yeah. It's normally the crisis which brings us to the awakening. So the crisis ends up being a blessing in many, many ways. We tend to be reactive because there's too much going on there, because we haven't understood that there's a neutral facet to the mind where we can observe. We don't need to get involved in the dramas around us. We can connect into our heart. We can speak from a different place other than needing to defend ourselves or to win a fight or to make another person wrong. Because we're not connected with spirit, so therefore we feel that we have to defend ourselves and we have to win and we have to make the other person wrong. And this is all driven by the mind. We tend, therefore, to act and speak in ways that sabotage both ourselves and our relationships. If we're in love with somebody, we don't want to hurt them, but they're the closest person to us. And when we're feeling maybe exhausted and the communication is not necessarily fully loving, then we will attack back. And many, many relationships are damaged irretrievably because of that. So looking at the body, we use our body to numb these unpleasant emotions. The spirit resides in the body, and so it is the body that feels the emotions that the spirit itself is experiencing. So I know I'm happy, I know I'm sad, I know I'm grieving, I know I'm pissed off, I know I'm frustrated, I know I'm bored, because each emotion has a unique signature within my body and within all of our bodies. And we learn that by using the body, rather than process the emotions, we can switch them off. We can distract ourselves. So we eat, we watch television, we spend too much time on the internet, we have sex, we go shopping, we drink alcohol, we take drugs, we self-harm, we overeat, we undereat, we binge, we vomit, we over-exercise. Keep going with that list. There is an almost infinite number of ways that human beings use their body to not feel the uncomfortable emotions that they haven't been trained to deal with. Okay, so the body is used and abused. And we tend to either idolize or demonize the body according to our ego's needs. So that means we may have a day where we think we're looking good and the ego gets inflated and we believe that we are the body. But then there are days when maybe we're having a bad hair day, or we've put on weight, or we've got a new spot, or something happens. And because the ego has attached itself directly to our appearance, we then plummet into a very deep, dark hole. We are not our body. Okay? It is a vehicle through which we experience our truth, through which we can heal, and which we have to take care of. But I will come on to more of that. So the imbalance of spirit is that we just don't connect in with spirit. Spirit is nowhere. It's nowhere in our education in the West. We're just starting to see in the last few years meditation and yoga being introduced into schools and into prisons and to places where it can really, really matter. But we do not have it as part of our cultural identity. And so therefore it's something that we learn, most of us through crisis, some of us through a sense of there is greater meaning and I'm curious and I want to follow it. If that's you, then that's great. You got there at the right time. And some people, because the younger people, they're fortunate enough to be receiving it now as part of their education. So it tends to be ignored and disempowered. Think about how you relate to your intuition. Yeah, you sense something, you feel really strongly, but you talk yourself out of it because you can't rationalize it. Yeah, so we have the voice of spirit, it comes through, and then we dismiss it. So we disempower that connection. We separate ourselves from our truth through the strength of the mind. Okay, we are fully dependent on the imbalanced and overloaded mind to carry out tasks it is not capable of carrying out. So big life decisions, big important communications within relationships. We try to fix things. We try to understand things through the intellect. We will be much better very often putting the intellect aside and coming into our heart center, coming to spirit and allowing things to unfold, being much more in a space of trust. We are like a ship without a rudder, often in a storm and sometimes without the sails as well. Okay, so right now, if we look at coronavirus, the metaphor of the sea or being in a storm has been used quite often for this, you know, that we're not all in the same boat. There are some people who are much more privileged to deal with the lockdown situations. There are some people who are in awful situations, already in violent, abusive relationships, and then locked inside a house with that already violent person who will now be ultra triggered. But we are all in the same ocean. We are all in the same storm. Okay, so we have different skills to deal with the world as it is and to deal with our own personal situations. And spirit is really the way that we are all going to ride the storm much more easily, not just this short period of coronavirus, but everything that is still to come. Our relationships, grieving, changes in our life circumstances, maybe changes in our health. We just don't know what's coming. And if we really want to equip ourselves to be resilient and strong, then we need to integrate these three aspects of ourselves, and we need to be connected back into spirit. So, restoring balance. So we had the totem pole there with the mind at the top, the body in the middle, and spirit. Yeah, what's that? So we're going to flip that. The mind is the most powerful, loyal servant. The mind is a tool which, when we start to discipline it and direct it, it is miraculous. I'm looking for the right word. It is miraculous what can occur. So those of you, I mentioned Joe Dispenza the other day, some of you have used his meditations. His spine was completely shattered in a motorbike accident. And at some point, he realized that the power of his mind, which could quite happily sit there in that broken, immobilized body and freak out and create scenarios about, I'm never going to walk, I'm never going to have sex, I'm never going to work, I'm never going to have fun, I'm never going to be able to do any of the things that I took for granted before. And that has the potential to really spin out of control. He took the power of his mind and directed it towards really focused healing, visualizing his spine rebuilding. And he had a complete recovery, a miraculous recovery. So but it needed him to be conscious of that potential, and it needed him to direct it. Okay, so the power of the mind is there for all of us. It's not that some of us have it more than others. It's just that some people have trained and developed the power to direct the power of the mind, while others have not. Either through lack of awareness or through kind of got better things to do. Quite frankly, I don't know what is more important than being able to train your mind to perform miracles for you. So we need to be giving clear instruction and guidance, and I will come on to where that comes from later. But if we start our day in a reactive mode, if we are constantly on Facebook, if we are allowing the craziness of the outside world to come in and direct our mind, then we have no chance for giving it any kind of instructions other than more chaos. And that's how our lives will play out, in chaos. I use the analogy, it's like a child trying to organize your life. Yeah, it will end up in a big mess. The untrained mind is completely egoic. And so it will just go after whatever distractions, whatever fulfillment that it needs in that moment. It cannot see the big picture. So you cannot plan, you cannot have any sense of control over your destiny. But with guidance, your mind has the power to direct your life. And I know that I give the example of my deep, deep, deep dives, 80, 90, 100 plus, meditating before the dive, actually in the water, and talking to each one of my organs until on the very last level, I talk to every single cell in my body. Are you ready? Are we ready? This is a team event. We all know what we've got to do. We all understand the project, this one dive. Lungs, are you ready to compress? Diaphragm, are you ready to stretch? Heart, are you ready to slow down? Muscles, are you ready to work with super lactic and anaerobic environment? Ears, are you ready to be soft and flexible to clear? Glottis, are you ready to lock down so I'm not going to swallow my mouth fill? Down to the point of every single cell in my body on a long deep dive, are you ready to basically hold your breath with me? We're going to do this together. And that's how those deep dives unfolded. They were a complete meditation directed by the mind, which allowed me to do the 104. You know, I'm not the super athlete of Alenka or Alessia or any of the guys, but I had super trained my mind in order to do that. So this is where we get real physiological neuromuscular change. And that same thing, what I directed towards my diving, can be directed towards healing as well, just as in the Joe Dispenza example. And so when we are connected to spirit, which we will come on to later, and it is spirit that is directing the mind rather than ego, which is directing the mind, we are coming from source. We are coming from that place of infinite potential. We're coming from the place of our truth. And then there is this incredible alignment where everything feels right. We know that it's right. And then it's almost like we're just being showered with gifts, because everything that we kind of want to happen happens so much more easily. And I was chatting to Jean-Philippe last night about a book that he's reading, and he's like, oh, it's a bit fluffy and superficial and law of attraction and blah, 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 blah. And I agreed with him that, you know, maybe the book was written for a sort of, you know, an audience with less experience. But when we start to dig deeper into things like the law of attraction, yeah, it's a very nice way to get people to think that their lives are easy. The thing is, the challenge here is that in order to get spirit to direct the mind, you have to have a meditation practice. There's no way around it. It's like saying, I'm going to drive a Formula One car, but I'm not going to put any petrol in it. You just don't have the energy, and you haven't done the training necessary to fine-tune the elements of yourself in order to get that to happen. So the law of attraction is real. Yeah. When you meditate and when you direct your mind, you do tap into something which is far greater than you. But it comes through having a sustained discipline of practice. So when we come to the body, we're talking about a sacred temple that houses the soul. We don't take care of our bodies as if they are holy temples. Yeah. The quality of the food that we put in should be a daily and a mealtime honoring of the body. The products that we put on our skin, the amount of water that we drink, everything should be a blessing for that physical temple. So just take a moment to consider how you do, or in some moments you may not completely honor your body in that role of being the temple that houses your spirit. It's the spirit that has the experiences of joy, of sadness, of anger. And it's through the physical body that we can feel it. So as spirit, we are simply energy. So we can't have feelings. And it's only through the physical body with the nervous system and the 5 physical senses that we know what's going on for us. And our whole endocrine system with the chemical releases. So our body is the messenger of our truth. The problem is when we feel sad, we pretend we're happy. When we feel frustrated or bored, we eat so that we don't feel it. When we feel anger, maybe we've been told that it's not nice to be angry, and so we swallow it down. But the body, what we feel in the body is our truth. And what we really need to do in order to bring everything into alignment, to become integrated, is to really honor each feeling as it arises, to acknowledge sadness and to make space for it, to process anger in a way that doesn't burn us or other people, to sit with boredom, to welcome it in, rather than needing to distract ourselves. Think about all of the emotions that you find difficult and uncomfortable and what you do in that moment. Your self-care, which we will be going into more and more through the habits. Do you take time to massage your body? Do you use natural organic oils, essential oils? Marco's drinking. Excellent, Marco. Do you drink enough water? Okay, so recognize that our body is sacred and start to treat it as such. Spirit is our truth. What you feel is your truth. The essence of who you are. And this is, we come back again and again and again to a daily practice, connecting, making space for that connection, because life is so fast and so noisy now. It's very easy to lose connection with that quiet, gentle inner voice. Yeah, spirit is never going to scream at you. That's the ego. That's the ego's job. Spirit is a calm, quiet presence. And so in order to hear it, we need to get quiet and still. And spirit is the part of us as human beings which is infinite. We talked about the mind and the three facets of the functional mind, but actually they are just facets of the universal consciousness. This is what we're talking about. This is where spirit also comes in. We may feel like separate beings. I'm over here in Egypt and you're all over there in Europe, in your different cities, different countries, in fact, all of you. So, but in fact, spirit, we're all connected. We're all one. And if that's the case, then I just need to be still and tap into universal wisdom as well. There are no spiritual teachings which are telling us anything new, ever. It's just connecting into what has always been there. And the intuition is the part of us which we can access. Just the same as we have the functional minds which we access, we have the intuition which we access, which is the aspect of spirit, the voice of spirit, which we need to make space for and listen to and trust. Okay, so there we go. We're not on week 5 yet. I'm going to come out of that. Stop the share. All right. So today is really about bringing the first 3 weeks together and bringing the bigger picture in. So we kind of zoomed in on body, we zoomed in on mind, and we zoomed in on spirit. And now we're kind of zooming out a little bit and sort of saying, okay, and with that understanding, how do they all work together? What does it really mean for me? So, as I said in the call, I think on Wednesday, if something is complicated, the chances are it's your ego getting involved. And if it feels simple, then probably it's your spirit. So it's really just an invitation to look at how you're feeling. Does something feel complicated and difficult and stressful? And how can you simplify things? How can you come into that place of actually it feels easy? And sitting in meditation is where you will find those answers. Not in your head, not in by writing lists, pros and cons, or analyzing things. It's really in sitting quietly and listening to what is going on inside of you.
Is it only to me, or is Sarah frozen?
No, we lost her. I think
Okay.
she's gonna come back in a few seconds.
I'm here.
Inshallah.
Oh, I see what's happened. Okay, can you hear me?
Sarah, we lost you for...
I know you lost me. I know. I had to hotspot on my phone this morning and a phone call just came in.
Okay.
So for some reason it threw me out of the Zoom. I'm sorry about that. So where were we? Where was I when I cut off? What was the last thing? Can you remember?
Yeah, I think...
The things are complicated, it's probably our ego.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yes. So is that it, look for the simplicity and make time for spirit. And really start to become aware in your daily activities of this balance, this interaction between body, mind, and spirit. This is sort of the foundation for everything else that we're going to do. Because when we start to look at the habits on every single cycle, and maybe we're struggling with early to bed, maybe there's a lot of drama around switching off the devices and inner drama. I don't want to, and why can't I? And it's not fair. And yeah, you hear the childishness coming through in that voice. That's not spirit. That is 100% ego. And it's a part of us which might say, but I'm an adult. Why do I have to go to bed early? Nobody's making us do anything. But if we connect into spirit and we say, how do I want to feel tomorrow? How do I want to feel every single day of my life? Do I want to feel energized or do I want to feel drained? The answer is very clear, very, very simple. The drama drops away. Oh, actually, yeah, I want to sleep. I want to nourish myself. And all of that pettiness, that childlike quality of the voice is gone. And we can start to see through those moments of self-sabotage much more clearly. Yeah. So when I say complicated, it's not just like, wow, this is a majorly complicated project. It's like the complication is within us. The complication is that inner chatter, that, yeah, but I don't want to, that childishness. Yeah, Kate talks about no whining or whinging. Why do I have to do that? Do I have to go to bed? Do I have to eat my broccoli? Yeah. And it's really this, any kind of spiritual path is really about growing up, maturing as a human being, but in the true sense of the word. Because there are many, many adults out there who haven't realized that they're adults, who haven't realized that they can make choices which serve them. And they stay stuck in patterns. They stay stuck in excuses and bargaining. And all of that just keeps them blocked, keeps them small. So what we want to do here, we're talking about awakening our potential. What is the most exciting, vibrant, amazing version of you and your life that you want to express tomorrow and in the coming week and months and years? And let that be the simplicity from which you make decisions. Because if you want to become an athlete, or if you want to become a healer, or if you want to, I have no idea what your dreams are, whatever it might be. If you want to simplify your life and go and live in a forest somewhere, you're only going to do it by making the small steps along the way, and that starts today. And so it does matter if we nourish ourselves properly on all levels, body, mind, and spirit. Because every step that we take today is either taking us towards or away from our goal. So we talk about these, when we look at the habits, we talk about everything being cumulative. Yeah, everything that we do today has a small impact. But if that's a habit that is repeated day after day after day, after week, after month, after year, it has a huge impact over time. I was reading, anyone want to guess who I was reading? Brené Brown. I'm on her mailing list, and her email this morning was really nice. I'm approaching the new year with optimism and focused hopefulness. By focused hopefulness, I mean I'm focusing on the things that I can actually influence or change. And if you really boil it down to what is happening in the world at the moment, the things you can actually influence or change is what you put in your mouth, what you put on your skin, what you put in your mind, what you listen to, and how you regulate your dinachari, your rhythm of the day. And she says, they feel small sometimes, all of these little things, but in my experience, a critical mass of small changes makes a big difference. Yeah, we're talking about awakening our potential. That is a big picture. That is a big goal. We don't get there in one leap. We get there by small incremental changes that accumulate over time and create the big difference. So your daily meditation matters. There's a metaphor that I found which I really like. It's really frustrating, but I think it's really true. When we start a meditation practice or any kind of daily spiritual practice, what we're doing is we're taking a long piece of string. And every day that we practice, we're doing one circle, one circle, one circle, one circle. And over time, that long piece of string begins to gather into a nice ball. If I forget my practice for one day, it's like dropping the ball on the floor. What happens when I drop a ball of string on the floor? Does it just undo one cycle? No, it's going to roll all the way across the room. And I've probably lost about a week's worth of this. Okay, so when we think about daily practice, it may sound like, ugh. Actually, it should feel like, yay. A friend of mine, it's like the toilet paper, says Jean-Phi. Yes, you drop the toilet paper on the floor, the whole thing's gone. A friend of mine gave me a really nice insight about, I was talking about my to-do list. Another thing off my to-do list. And she said, you know what? I don't call it my to-do list anymore. I call it my get to-do list. One word changes the whole energy. So you put your meditation, you put your early to bed, you put your earlier lighter dinner, you put your tongue scraping, you put your pooping, you put all of these things on a get to do list. And it becomes, rather than it becomes a, yay, today I get to meditate. Today I get to drink hot water. Today I get to go to bed early. It's really shifting the perspective from what is our value system? Yeah, when we're feeling low and tired, do we feel that we deserve a big piece of cake? Or do we deserve to sit down, have a nice cup of herbal tea and close our eyes for 10 minutes? Which is going to nourish us more? Which one is spirit being rewarded and which one is ego being rewarded? And which part of us that we're rewarding is going to take us towards our big picture? Which part is going to take us away? So this concept of integration is really being aware that these small steps and these daily decisions may feel inconsequential, and maybe as an isolated incident, they are. But over time and all together, they become cumulative and they add up, and they either count towards or they detract from your journey. So it's just a decision that comes from awareness. And each of us, as an adult, has the choice. We have the freedom. But we also have to recognize that we need to take the responsibility. So yes, if you're going to spend a week not meditating and letting your ball of string or your toilet paper unroll, fine. But recognize cause and effect. Recognize that you're going to have to do maybe a month of meditation again to get back into the same groove. If you're going to go on holiday, like Jean-Philippe and I did, and eat lots of yummy food and drink alcohol and have coffee and things that you wouldn't normally have, great, enjoy it. But also recognize it's going to be harder when you get back to life to get back into your routine, to get back to your meditation, to get back to the hot water and the herbal teas, to get back to the exercise, the meditation, whatever it is that you were doing before. And of course, it all starts in the mind. So if your mind is trained towards this mindset of get to do rather than have to do, then the mind is going to serve you. The alarm clock goes off. Yay, time to scrape my tongue. I love the feeling of a clean mouth. And then I get to sit and meditate. And then I'm just going to feel lovely when I have my breakfast, my porridge or my smoothie or whatever it is. And I get to start my day feeling amazing. Get to, my get to do list. Yeah. It's blessings that we give ourselves. It's kindness that we give ourselves, but that comes through awareness. And that comes through the mind, and that comes through spirit. And the body is the vehicle through which we get to express and experience everything. Okay, I'm going to stop talking now. Does anyone have any questions or shares, wins? Marco.
It's a win starting with the meditation this morning.
Yeah, you did it, the one I gave you.
Yeah.
Cool. How did you find it?
Yeah, maybe we can have 2 minutes after this call for some question.
Sure, no problem.
And also, I have 2 bottles of water here.
You go to top of the class this morning, Marco. Well done. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, when we finish the call, Charlotte, you and I will reconnect. Yeah, I'll call you. I'll send you a message when I finish with Marco, okay? Yeah. Anybody else? Any wins? That's very good, Marco. Thank you. Anyone else got some inspiration that they'd like to share with the group? Or finding stuff hard? Is it hard to sit? Are you struggling? Do you maybe need some help? How easy is it to connect with spirit? Jean-Philippe.
Yeah, for me, it's not something hard, but for my meditation practice, it's okay. I do it almost every day, and it's a very good way for me to feel good at the start of the day and more balance in this particular situation. But just about yoga practice for those who like to do exercise or yoga. For me, I noticed that just to do 20 minutes, 30 minutes practice, 40 minutes practice, it feels good. And for many times, for a lot of time, I was not practicing because in my mind I was thinking, oh, I don't have 1 hour, 30 minutes or 2 hours to practice. So I just don't do it. But actually, everything is possible in 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just to reconnect with the body and to feel even better and to continue to practice, to take care about our body, but as the body and the mind and the spirit are linked, it's also good. So yeah. Even 5-10 minutes is good. It was just to say that. It's no big deal. Can make a difference.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else? Francis has just joined us. Francis, we're just finishing the call. I think you're an hour late, sweetheart, but stay here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I missed an hour.
It's okay. Stay.
London,
There.
sorry.
We're just having a chat, so you're very welcome to be here. Anybody else? No? Okay.
Not really. What I'm sometimes struggling with is, when you are doing the meditation like this day in the beginning, for me it's very hard to listen to you and also relax and do all these different things at the same time. So then my mind always starts thinking about, oh, what should I do? What is now? And yeah.
So a guided meditation is challenging for you. You find it distracting.
Yes, the topic was, maybe I misunderstood it, but at the beginning you told about think about Wahe Guru when inhaling and exhaling, and doing this, doing inhaling, exhaling, and also listen to all the other topics. This struggles my mind sometimes a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the inhale, the exhale with the mantra, it was just to have a moment to do that and then move on. So it wasn't to keep your mind focused on the mantra. It was just a guided meditation. So I think with guided meditations, it's I mean, Jean-Philippe can talk a lot about Yoga Nidra, but the process of following some guidance, and it's really about allowing your mind to be in a very relaxed state. So rather than being focused and having this attitude and what did they say and I have to do it right, and again sort of this very Western analytical and judgment-based mind, that you just come into a space of allowing the information to come in, and some of it will stick with you and you'll be there, and some of it will not stick with you. So I shouldn't worry too much about guided meditations and really following everything. Yeah. Jean-Philippe, do you want to say something about Yoga Nidra?
Yeah, strange. Yeah, I can say something about Yoga Nidra or even meditation by itself. I think that guiding is to receive a guidance is important, of course, because if you don't, it's like when you want to learn how to drive a car and you can't. I think it's necessary at the beginning. Then when you follow the instructions, of course, I can understand what you mean. It can be a bit confusing at the beginning because you try to relax, and at the same time you have to be aware of the guidance, and you're in between in the mind and in the awareness. But it's necessary, because if you don't receive guidance, you don't know the way. You don't know where to look inside and how it works. I think it's also the same when you go in a country you don't know, in a landscape, in the countryside, and someone take your hands and guide you, and you have to follow that person until you know the way, and then you can skip the guidance because you know the way inside, and then you can bring everything in your awareness and stay quiet and relaxed. But at the beginning, guidance is absolutely necessary, or you go nowhere. So it's just a step. But I know what you mean, because I remember that for me, at the very beginning, it was strange. It was even a bit difficult because I was trying to relax myself and to stay aware and to be quiet, and at the same time I had to pay attention, and my mind was working for that. And it's a bit confusing, but it's just a step. Then with the guidance, you can recognize the way, or les choses, on peut reconnaître les choses qui marchent.
Recognize what's working.
Yeah, and then you can do it just by yourself, and that's it. And you can fly. Yeah. But,
Okay.
Same in Yoga Nidra or formal meditation, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Just a bit of patience, and then you'll know the way inside, and you will be able to practice by yourself and to stay focused like a mountain and doing your own experience, flying through spirit. In Hatha Yoga, just to say, whatever what we do, it's the same. Driving a car, Hatha Yoga, learning music, it's all the same.
Yeah. Don't worry too much, with the guided meditation. Just allow yourself to flow with it and receive what touches you, and some stuff will be lost. It's okay. Thank you, Marco. Paula, you wanted also to share or ask something.
I don't.
You don't remember? Okay.
I was gonna make a comment on something that was said, but I don't remember anymore.
Okay. All right. No worries. So anybody else, Sophia or Charlotte or Lynn, you're the three that we haven't heard from today. Is there anything that you'd like to ask or share? No. All right then. Okay. Well, we'll bring it to an end then. Stay with this concept of integration. You've got a weekend, so maybe a little bit more time and space. If you have a regular job at the moment, to really sort of sit and reflect for yourself how this information can impact you, how you can take it and integrate the integration. yeah, as I said in the newsletter that goes with this week, you know, integration is an essential part of any growth cycle. This is the winter to spring, summer, and autumn is the integration. Yeah, we've done winter is when we do the reflection, we look back, what has happened, what did we achieve, where did we miss our goals, were the goals even the right goals, or were we kind of off track? What did we get done, what did we not get done, and what do we want to do going forwards? And it's a time, winter is the time when we go inwards and we gather our energy again. And we're quiet and we're reflective and we journal. And the weather supports that. You know, again, we're part of nature. The weather supports that we stay at home. We're less physically active. It's cozy time. It's connected time with family, with friends, with ourselves. Yeah, sitting with our own heart. And using this time, winter, integration, to start to plan what are the seeds that we're going to sow for spring? What is going to come to fruition in the summer? What are we going to harvest in the autumn? Yeah, everything has a cycle. So this week is really about coming to that point of looking back over the last 3 weeks, body, mind, spirit. What does that mean to me? What did I learn? Yeah. And really maybe go back over the videos. Remind yourself. Dig deep. Listen to the videos with a journal. Do the worksheets. Have any of you done the worksheets for this cycle? No. Okay. So that's maybe something to do. Paula's maybe. Yeah. Yeah. So there are worksheets for every one of these lectures. Go into the newsletters, click on the link. They're all in there. And maybe dive a little bit deeper so that you really start to integrate all of this information. Because when we receive it in a lecture like this, I don't know how much we take, 5%, 10%, 15 maybe. Yeah, give yourself an opportunity to really nourish yourself with the information, take what you need, discern what it is that you need. Yeah, because some of the information is not for all of you. What is it that speaks to you at the moment where you are in your life? What do you need to take and what are you going to do with it? How are you going to make it yours? How are you going to make it count? Yeah, how do you make the time that we spend here together worthwhile? Yeah, so do a little bit of your own homework, reflection, meditation, journaling. Yeah, and this is really what integration is about. So I will stay on for Marco. I'll message you, Charlotte, when I'm clear. Francis, you've just popped in at the end. How are you, my dear? Is there anything that you'd like to share or ask?
No, Sarah, thanks. I was quite busy this morning and I had 4 night shifts in a row. So my, how can I say, my circadian cycle is a little bit messed.
Yeah.
So I have to, how can I say, work on my circadian cycle this week. I'm gonna be off. So hopefully I get to sleep 8 hours. This is my goal this week. Yes.
Yeah. Be gentle with yourself. And maybe Jean-Phil's been taking melatonin because he also struggles with his sleep cycle because he works shifts and he says he's found it very useful. So you might find that also, it's a spray that he just puts under his tongue at night. You might find that helps you as well, just to kickstart your sleep cycle at the right time so that then you can wake up at the right time again. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Nancy.
Yeah, I just want to confirm what you just said. For me, it was really a problem before because of my constantly changing of work schedule with different shifts. And for me, it's amazing. It works. And even when I know that, no, just for example, when I know that I have to wake up at 4 a.m. To go to work, and I go to bed at 10, 11, I don't sleep, because even if I relax myself, I tried everything, I just, it's difficult. So before it was difficult for me to fall asleep and to have a good night. But with that, it's perfect. I don't know if you can find it. It's Vita Spray with melatonin, but with plants. So
Can I see it? Okay.
yeah,
Perfect.
I can.
Natural place, or probably. Okay.
Yeah, I can.
So send
If
a
you
photo.
like, I can. Can I talk? Yeah, I can send a picture of this. Why are you smiling? No? Okay.
We got it.
Yeah, but it's frankly, for me, it's super good. I sleep very well with that. I'm very happy. So I stop talking.
Okay. Merci. Merci for
Thank you.
talking. I don't mean thank you for stopping talking, but all right.
Francis, I'm gonna send you a picture of that thing.
I'm going to mute you, darling. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend. Do take some time. Yeah, integration is about the time, the exhale after the inhale. Okay, so this is what this week is about. All right, I send you loads of love, and I see you all on Wednesday for body breath practices. Okay. Mwah.
Bye.
Thank you for being here.
Bye.